Hi and good evening. My name is David, and tonight we are playing our third session of Fight with Spirit. Fight with Spirit is a game of school sports drama, not necessarily high school, um, by Story Brewers Games, who also produced Good Society as well as a number of other good games. But this game in particular has some inspiration from Good Society. Um, we are playing in a setting in the 1920s in an English boarding school, and the game that we are exploring through a dramatic lens is cricket. This game was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group. We get together and play games like this one. We have a calendar where you can sign up to play online games. We have also a number of podcasts. We have a gaming magazine called Codex. We publish a couple of games as well. You can find information on all of that stuff on the website, which is at gauntlet-rpg.com. Oh, in fact, actually, I will quick show off my copy of Hearts of Wulin arrived today. Thank you to Lowell and everyone involved for that. That's what we're doing tonight. So I'm going to ask everyone to just introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about their character and something they got up to last time. We'll go in reverse couch keeper order this time, so we don't start off with Stephen, who unfortunately was not here last time. And we don't have Anders tonight. So Brandon, if you'd go first, please.
Happy to. I'm Brandon. I'm playing Lewis Gregory, also he, who is someone who used to play for what is now a rival team. That is, in fact, thought to be a little higher up the status tree, and has come back to St. Osana's in large part to be with his identical twin brother, Lawrence or Laws, because he believes that Laws is a natural cricket player and could possibly make it as a professional. And certainly hasn't picked out anything he'd rather do. So he had a first significant conversation with Laws about that, in which Laws revealed that he was mooning after another boy here at the school, and that's what put him off the game, and he had come back to the game largely because Lewis had shown up, and it was intimate and frustrating, and all the things that such conversations should be. Lewis is also his side passion is the piano, and his training has all been classical, but he wonders about other modalities. I mean, he plays popular music for fun, but of course that's not a serious thing. But he is curious as to whether there is something else other than opportunity to become a concert pianist, as his teacher, Miss Thompson, is pushing him to do.
Brilliant, thank you very much. So next, Maria, if you'd like to introduce yourself and who you'll be playing tonight.
Hello, I'm Maria. I use she, her pronouns, and I will be playing Lawrence, or Laws, depending on how much you want to say 2 syllables, who is Lewis's younger twin brother, who is crazy about 2 things, jazz and boys. I think Lawrence is easily distracted and has kind of like thrown himself into the things that he likes, which is mostly jazz. And for all that Lewis thinks that he's a natural talent at cricket, I don't know if Lawrence really has that much of a passion for cricket. Like he enjoys it, but I don't know if he enjoys it when there are a lot of eyes on you and you might have to impress the person you like, who happens to be our new team captain, who Lawrence met someone at the end of summer fete, who seemed to like have an interest in the team captain. At least they seem to be friends of a sort, despite being on different teams. So yeah, Lawrence thinks that's interesting. And I don't know what Lawrence is going to do with whatever they talked about, because they had a little chat over ice cream or something. Yeah, and I think, what else did Lawrence do? Yeah, Lawrence kind of did an embarrassing thing in calling out the rival Shipton Academy students and saying, I can beat you at darts, but then it turned out whoever he was playing, who happened to be his brother's ex-best mate, was actually hustling and soundly trounced Lawrence. And so there is a little bit of that. But yeah, now Lewis knows everything about Lawrence and why Lawrence stopped playing cricket, and a lot of other things about Lawrence, but that's where we are.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, and last but not least, Stephen, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your character.
Yeah, I'm Stephen, he, him, and I am playing Aiden Chambers. Also he, they, and Aiden is upper sixth. He is the team captain, which I think kind of emerged less from inherent talent for the captaincy and more from the fact that our lead players all seem to be basically picking fights with each other. I think Aiden was like the like non disaster, well, the less disastrous option. Yeah, and I think that Aiden's a bit timid. I think that there's still a bit uncertain about where they are going in life after the academy, and some stuff happened at an interteam party a while back with Dom that Aiden blushes a lot about, but kind of shifts the toe of his shoe around this in the dirt a bit whenever it comes up. Yeah. Anything else you want to know? I forgot who did I take under my wing?
I think
that would be Lewis.
Yep.
Oh, Lewis?
Right. Cool.
All right. Okay, never mind.
Awesome. No, that's cool. Thank you very much. Yes. So yeah, that's sort of where we what we got up to last time. We had our event sequence where we had the goings on at the Hades Village fete. There was we said we had a bit of a mostly good-natured confrontation between some of the Shipton Academy pupils and well, everyone was present, but Lawrence got into the contest. We also there, as mentioned, Dom kind of met with and spoke to Lawrence. Valentine, Anders' character, got into a fight with his rival on the on the Hades team. They got into a bit of a fight until it was broken up by his brother, the coach. We then went into our kind of pre-match scenes, so where we had the twins had kind of a heart-to-heart whilst sort of getting changed for the game. And Valentine was brought before the headmaster, who basically told him to, fight dirty if that's what it took, and so on and so forth. Where we're going to leap in today, I'm going to give, obviously, Aiden a chance for you to frame up a pre-match scene if you want. This can be a scene. It has to involve. It has to either involve your character or one of the connections you play, and can potentially include anyone else that is appropriate. And this is just like a chance to sort of give you the opportunity to explore your relationship with one or more characters, or explore your drive or similar before we get stuck into the match proper. I won't go into a big recap on everything again, but just to as a reminder, you have setback tokens which can be used to spend to cause problems for other characters. That can be either from the perspective of your character, from one of your connections, or just something that happens in the world. If the player you're kind of affecting accepts that setback token, it converts into a fight token, which can be spent in the match to make yourself better, essentially. I also have some setback tokens of my own. But yeah, that is that. As I said, once you've resolved your drive, your trait, you can then gain a spirit. You can kind of cash that in for a spirit token as well, if you so desire. But yeah, that is kind of where we're at. So I wonder. And yeah, so the match will be played between, obviously, between St. Osana's and Hades for the semi-final. With that said, Aiden, is there a scene that you would like to have before we get into the match?
I think I'd like to, and let me just see here who. Yeah, I think I'd like to play out that let's see, spend a setback to create a complication. Yeah, I think that I have the thought that I'd like to see the fallout of that Lawrence conversation a little bit. And I kind of want to open the scene maybe, but I think that we kind of open the scene with like, and let me know if this is fine with you, Lawrence, but we see like a shot goes wide, a ball goes wide off of the bat, and Lawrence takes it pretty hard in like the shin or knee. And like we see like maybe Aiden, and if somebody else wants to be in the scene, we probably Aiden at least is carrying you off the pitch to see the nurse. And like we open the scene with you with an ice pack on your leg, and Aiden fussing over you a bit.
Is this like, since this is a pre-match thing, I don't think the match has started yet. Do we want to say that this is like during like a warm-up, maybe?
Sure. I didn't
Might
know.
have
I
been
didn't know
doing
where we
might
were
have been a
setting it.
practice game. Might have been
Yeah.
could be a practice
Mhm.
game a couple of days before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Time skipping. Where are we? Yeah, I think so are we saying this is a few days before or like directly before? Just so I have a sense of
I think I mean, yeah, we'll say it's the day before, just so that the setback is actually
okay.
an actual setback.
Yeah.
I'm offering you that setback. If you
Yeah,
want to
and
take
it's
it.
for Lawrence to be injured.
Yep.
Like, is this enough to keep him out of the game, or just like really to mess with his skills?
I think the latter, so that you can still actually play.
Okay, yeah, because I have so much right now. Sure, okay, yeah, I will take that. And it's like there's probably like a huge lump on my shin. It's like starting to form. Are we at the infirmary, or are we still like being carried?
Yeah, I think I carried you over to the infirmary, and it's like one of those things where like there's, you know, the curtain that pulls along.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Captain. I didn't know what I was doing. I should have gotten out of the way.
No. It wasn't. It's not something you. It's not your fault, Lawrence. The shot went wide. I should have thrown that pitch better, and I kind of like reach out and am tentatively like touching at the bruise with my fingertips, and I'm like, how does that feel?
Lawrence's face is like bright red and is like batting at like ineffectually at Aiden's hands. Like, it's fine. I'm okay. I'll be able to play tomorrow.
Are you sure? You look red in the face. Can you breathe, Lawrence?
Yes, I can breathe. I'm breathing right now. Thanks for carrying me out here. Don't tell. I guess Lewis saw, but don't tell them that I was moaning a little bit about the pain. He can't know how bad things are sometimes.
Oh, don't worry. If you ever need anyone to pick you up, you know where to look. Up. If and then I blush, like if you get injured. I mean, you know.
Yes. Are you excited for the semifinal match? Lauren says, he's hastily changing the topic.
Yeah, and I think Aiden kind of looks maybe out the window of this infirmary, and I don't know. I feel like I haven't done enough to make this team work. I feel like I'm letting you all down.
No, you're not. How could you say that? You are a captain. You've mostly got us under control.
What? I heard Valentine got into another fist fight, and it was only one, so that was low, but still.
You know how we get when we are out in the sunlight, the slightly less cloudy sunlight, and how we get when we're free for just a few hours. Tension and spirits were high, and I'm sure Valentine's not gonna do anything pleasant or uncontrolled during the match. And that's probably your influence, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You know, you can go ahead.
I don't want to see any of you getting hurt.
I mean, it's cricket. It's just accidents that make people get hurt, and I don't think you have any control over that. As Lawrence like looks at the like bruise. It's just a little bit of tough luck, and I don't think you have any control over luck. I mean, go ahead.
Thanks for that, Laws. You're a really good friend, and I kind of give you a friend hug.
Lawrence will like pat your back really awkwardly, and then as he pulls back, he says, "Speaking of friends, I ran into someone who said that he was your friend at the fair. He was from Hades, so I think we'll see him tomorrow."
I think Aiden kind of coughs awkwardly and says, who? I mean, who?
I don't know. I got his name. Maybe I got his name. Dominic? Sort of. And Lewis like almost says not a bad looking fellow. And then he was at the game where you hit it really hard and the thing goes up. If anything, Hades has a really strong player.
Yes, yeah, that is he is definitely very, very strong, and I'm just turning bright red.
It's a good time for someone to break in.
Yeah.
So I pull the curtain back. Chambers, I don't know about this shirker, says Lewis, looking at his brother. But you're needed on the pitch.
Oh, right. I'll feel better, Laws, and I kind of give you this
my spinner's off today
on the shoulder and kind of walk stiffly out of the room hurriedly.
I said my spinner's my inside spinner's not landing right, and I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. So I need a little coaching. Coach tells me my shoulder's too stiff, but I don't really know. But it hasn't been helpful to get it to cut in hard.
Lawrence from the bed is like, maybe if you just relaxed a little bit, Lewis.
Oh, are you going to come out and coach me? Or are you going to stay in here and feel sorry for yourself?
Aiden carried me over. I had no say.
No, not at all.
He is like...
You're just a helpless puppet. Yes, I remember I saw that ball smack you solidly in the head and knock you unconscious.
Did Aiden leave, or is Aiden still here?
I mean, I think Aiden is very awkwardly like getting out of there because since you brought up Dom, that's what happened.
Okay.
And I think maybe is that where the scene ends?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Good thing.
Awesome. So we will proceed to match. Actually, I'm gonna just have a quick. I'm gonna break the rules slightly and instigate a very brief scene because I still have a setback token left and I want to get rid of it. So I think this is like immediately before the match begins, as you're doing that bit where the the two team captains come out to like shake hands and do the coin toss to see who gets to bat first, and so on and so forth. And as you're both stood up there, Dom is going to grin and say, "It's good to see you again, Chambers. I thought I'd catch you in the village the other day, but I guess you had other plans."
Yes, plans. I kind of give an awkward cough. That was in character.
He's going to and he'll kind of lean in, and he'll nod towards Lewis. We'll say Lewis, and say, "So have you had a crack at that one yet?"
No.
Well, he seemed like he might be game. He was. I'd swear he was flirting with me the other day at the fete, but well, it was a little bit too public.
I kind of. Oh, and I kind of like look like curiously over at Lewis. I didn't no.
Well, I thought I'd see first if you'd if you've been up to anything. I figure you'll be off swanning off to Oxford or Cambridge or whatever it is you'll do next year, and well, I'll still be around Hades then, so I may as well see what talents coming up through the ranks, as it were.
Yeah, I think.
And also, I should say, sorry, I did that. I should have said I will be offering a setback token for him to be making it fairly clear that he's, doesn't maybe see this as a serious thing. If that's fair, obviously, feel free to adjust.
I get what you're doing here, and I invited this for my character. Yeah, I think Aiden. Kind of gives a weak laugh and says, right, just making a round of the talents. And he turns around quickly and like, because I think this is like where the two captains part again, and like kind of walks quickly back to his team. But you can see that there's definitely this kind of like he's pretty hurt by that. Yeah. And what do I do when you give me the complication?
So you get a fight token, so you can mark that on your. And these are basically, generally speaking, these are used to increase the value of cards that you draw in the match, as we'll see in a second once we get into the mechanics. So, right, we are now moving into the match. So we will be turning to our. I put a link in there to our playingcards.io. Room there. So just as a very brief introduction, first you'll see there's like three lines essentially. We've got at the top of the match deck, these are the cards that are used to adjudicate essentially the outcome of the match cards that we'll see in a minute, or the match games that we'll see in a minute. So these you should just be able to draw these by dragging them into place. They'll go into that drawer there. They'll start out face down. You can click them to turn them face up. Also, if you zoom over the cards, it should show it like zoomed in on the screen. If the cards, because even zoomed in, the cards aren't necessarily the biggest. I have linked to them all in the shared folder as well. If you just need to refer to the card text and you can't quite get it off of that screen. Underneath it, next in the orange, we have the match games. So at any one time, we will have 3 games available. You'll see there's 2 sides to these as well. There's the side with the short description on, and then you can flip that over to see like the full game text. This is one in particular where you might want to refer to the PDF in the shared folder, because the text is quite small on those. The third ones, the ones in blue, these are essentially the same as those games above, but these are kind of mandatory ones that are always played. So we have the opener, which starts our final position, and then we have 2 closers, final moments if if you've won the match, and one last chance if you are currently drawing the match, which shouldn't happen today, I don't think, because there are 3 of you, so that should not result in a tie. As I think it's always at 1.1 either way with the games. That is what we'll do. We will be starting out with the opener. We will be resolving the rules on that. Then we will pick one player to go first. They will choose one of these games. We'll resolve that. That card gets discarded. We refill from the draw deck, and then the next person gets to choose from the next 3 available cards, and so on. In between each game that we play, we will have as well a match moment. If these are these are I'm sure these are somewhere in the character keeper, so bear with me 1 second. They may not be, in which case okay, no, so these will need to refer to the shared folder. Just remind myself of where they are. I think it's, if you look on the, is it on the character sheet? Yes, that's right. So if you look on the character sheet in the shared folder, this has the match moments. So basically each of these match moments is just like a little short vignette that you'll frame up with your character. There are 4 different options for this. Like I said, we'll alternate one of these between each game that we play, and we'll try and time it so that we don't have someone doing the match moment and then either coming straight from or going straight to a game of their own. But we'll see how that works out. So, with all that said and done, we will play our first game, which is the opener. This one should be fairly quick to resolve, so we'll do this one and then we'll see where we are from there. We'll probably either do our first moment or do a quick break there. So the opener, and yeah, I think I am going to switch back to the PDF for this, because I'm generally okay with small text, but that is a little small even for me. So the opener, play to find out who will be the upper hand. This involves both your team and the rival team. So what we'll do is we'll go through this in order first, and then we'll go through the instructions first in order, as this is our first time playing it, and then we'll go through again and play. So our setup for this is that the rival team will say how the rivals are feeling and looking at the moment. As I'm facilitating this, I will be playing that rival team. If we were playing without a facilitator, we'd sort of take, we'd each throw in a moment there. But we'll then go into the play section, where your team will, one at a time, everyone will describe what they are doing in the first part of the match and answers the following questions, which are: how are you feeling and looking in the moment? What are you most worried about in the match ahead? And what dream burns strongest in your mind? What we do then is each of you will draw one card. You can, if you wish, spend spirit on this. If you spend spirit for each point of spirit you spend, you will draw one additional card, but also discard one. So you essentially draw one card plus however many points of spirit you spend, and you have to spend all of your spirit at once as well. I believe at the minute everyone only has 1 point each anyway, but you would. So if you spent that point of spirit, you would draw two cards, discard one of them, and then play the one remaining. Once all the cards have been drawn, we'll turn them over, see what we've got. If the cards are greater than 12 for three of you, then you've won the opening moves of the game. If they are not, then you have lost. If you win, you get momentum. Momentum means that you win on ties with numbers as well. So, for example, in this example, normally you would have to get. Obviously, there wouldn't be a situation where this happened, but normally you would have to get greater than 12 to win this particular game. If you had momentum, then it would be equal to or greater than 12 would win you that game. The other thing that you can do is that players can spend their fight tokens to increase the result of the card they've drawn. And this is done obviously after you've revealed cards and the like. So that represents you sort of putting your extra effort into it. That you can spend as many points as you wish. You don't have to spend them all at once like you do with Spirit. So that's what we're going to be doing. I will start off by describing the. So I think the general air. This is it's a summer or early summer afternoon. It's a little overcast, but there is sun breaking through. It's dry at least, and doesn't look like it will rain. The team is from Hades Grammar School. It's the local sort of state school. It's the grammar school, so the kids there are sort of training more for academics and the trades. It's the school for the more academically gifted kids, but it is not as fancy as even a lower rung public school like private school like St. Simon's is, and it's not a boarding school either. The kids are all obviously in their cricket whites. They all look fairly confident. The Dom is obviously there. He's having a few words and a laugh with a couple of his teammates. They all seem in high spirits. You can see Lionel, who ended up getting into the scrap with Valentine is there as well. But yeah, in general, the team looks to be in fairly good spirits. They're pleased to have got this far in the tournament on their first year as a member of the league, and they are and they seem quite confident in general. So I will go around, and this I think I'll do first in character keeper order. So Aiden, what do we see you doing in the first part of the match? And as I said, they have the following three questions to our answer, which are: how are you feeling and looking? What are you most worried about in the match ahead? And what dream burns strongest in your mind?
Oh, I think Aiden is actually looking pretty uncertain right now. Like, Lawrence is still injured. Valentine, the person the Valentine got into a scrape with, is here, and Dom apparently wants Lewis, I guess. So Aiden's feeling pretty feeling a little bit of a failure right now. I think I'm probably most worried that I'll just somebody in my team will just get even more injured. Have to make certain that have to keep an eye on Lawrence, make certain he doesn't take another ball to the face. Sorry, that time it was not intended. Yeah, what dream burns strongest in my mind? Yeah, it's hard because Lawrence's Aiden's thing is not knowing. I think the dream that burns strongest is that the team will come together even if we lose. I think that's Aiden's dream here.
Nice, thank you very much. Lawrence. Same to you. What do we see? And if you want to answer those questions, I can repeat them if you want. But if you're okay with running ahead, I won't do so.
Yeah, I think as the coin toss or whatever is happening, and like this whole start of the match, I think like Lawrence was like warming up, and there's still like winces and the occasional like rubbing at the shin, which is just to like make sure it's okay. But I think like you see Lawrence like kind of looking over at Aiden, because he was watching the coin toss and that didn't look like it ended up well for our captain somehow. He doesn't understand why it didn't end up well, and why Aiden looked so down. It was just a coin toss. Either way, it works out for us. But I think like how Lawrence is feeling right now is a little bit like concern. Just, I know my captain's the most questioning captain I've ever met. I'm sure Aiden's a great captain, but we'll be fine. We'll be great. We'll be fine. We'll be grand. We'll pull it together, I think is what he's thinking. What he's most worried about is that I think what he's most worried about is that they will not do great. They will not do grand. That like Aiden's mood is gonna catch on everyone, and that the way the captain seems to act and feel is gonna spread to the rest of the team, and we'll be distracted and fall behind and runs. But I think despite that, there is like the little thing in Lawrence that has the dream of them just of it being a close match at the very end, and then he does something absolutely heroic, and they're in this like daydream vision, he's like running and celebrating, and there's smiles everywhere, and Aiden's smiling and beaming at him, and yeah, that's the dream burning strongest in Lawrence's mind.
I like to think that this is like the anime moment where like we then flip to the present, and you're just like silently like pantomiming the like your victory stance
run. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Lewis, how about yourself? What do we see you doing at the beginning of the match, and if you'd like to answer those questions?
Sure. Lewis is all set and is fidgeting, ready to go, and he is one of the things he is doing is he's telling Lawrence to knock it off. That thing isn't going to get any better by you rubbing it every 15 seconds, and it's distracting. He's for himself, he's feeling, I mean, he's properly turned out, and he's feeling solid and ready to beat the pants off these upstarts. What he is most worried about is that Laws is going to play distracted, because he knows that one of the things that a recruiter is going to be coming down to look at Saint Osana's during this match and the next. And he wants Laws to come off well. And the dream that burns strongest in his mind goes right with that, which is that Laws plays his heart out. Because Lewis knows that if he does, then he'll do well. And also that it'll mean something to him. It's Lawrence says, "Do I have dirt on my face already?" And Lewis picks up a handful of dirt and rubs it on Lawrence's cheek. He says, "Now you do."
Awesome. So now for the moment of truth. If you all want to draw a card from the match deck down into that central box there, I think everyone should be able to do it at the same time, possibly. We'll see. So I'm not that used to it. So, and then if we want to flip all of those over and see what we get. That is good. So, you were looking for 12. You have a 14 showing on the table. So you'll notice these cards are have a number and a suit. The number is always from 1 to 6. The suits are prowess, connection, focus, and maybe teamwork. Another one, anyway. So the last bit we have for the opener is who played the 6 there?
Maybe.
Excellent. So on a win, the player of the highest card answers their headway. So you should see on that card, there is a question prompt underneath headway there, which is in this case is what pushes you to the next level of perfection?
Well, the desire to smoke the Hades is there, but also I'm trying to set a level for Lars to play up to. It's like if I'm not playing if I'm not at the top of my game, how can I expect him to be there? And it's like, if I can't if I can't get him to play better by exhortation, well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to shame him into doing it.
Awesome, perfect.
So yeah, so I imagine I'm starting off bowling.
Yeah,
and the first one's a ferocious spinner that the batsman completely misses, and knocks off knocks the bails off.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
And just embarrassing them in the first innings. And I turn and look at Lawrence. As to say, top that one.
Nice. Thank you very much. So what we will, what I think we'll take a quick break here. So we'll take about 5-minute break. And I think, what we'll probably do is when we start, I'll kind of go around in character keeper order, like essentially. So Stephen will play the first game, then Maria will do the first match moment, then Brandon will do the next game, Stephen will do the next match moment until we're all the way through. I think that's probably just the easiest way to do it. But as I said, we will take a 5-minute break now. So see you all in a few minutes. Cool. So yes, with that, we will pick our first slightly confusingly named match game to play. Aiden, if you would like to choose the 3 available options at the minute are Look at Me Now, Team Combo, and On My Own. There's a quick description of each on the front, and then you can obviously turn over to read more detail if you wish. Sorry, there's something I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was just going to mention these ones we kind of have. We are prefixed for the first game, but yeah, feel free to choose whichever of those appeals to you most.
Yeah, I think that I will. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll also throw this out to Brandon, because I feel like I will ask this to someone that actually knows how the sport works. I'm gonna go with team combo. So choose a teammate you've been secretly practicing with. What combo move have you been training secretly together? Brandon, what would be a kind of combo here?
Let's see. I mean, from batting, there's only so much you can do, because it's so much that it's an individual contest between the. Correct me, of course, David, if I say this.
Although it doesn't specify that we have to be batting while we're doing
this.
No.
No. So it might be. So it could be a fielding combo. I mean, one thing that is a tactical move that the fielders can make is to have someone seem to be a little slow in getting to the ball, and then recover it in time to throw it hard to the wicket keeper, who can then catch the runner out by knocking the bails off the wicket. So if you catch them in mid-run, there's just like being on base, there's a safe zone at either end. But if you catch the runners in mid-run, then you've got the batsman out.
Oh yeah.
And so getting them to stretch what might be a 1 run into 2 or something like that by appearing to by doing a little fumbling or something that looks like a stumble but isn't. And then scooping the ball up and with a hard throw that gets in there in time. So there's a psych out element.
Yeah, and of course you've been also playing to let Lawrence shine this entire time. So people also maybe think that you're not as good as you actually are.
Right, and they don't. And I've not played on Saint Osona's before.
Yeah, I like that. So the question that is for you is, do you trust me right now? Why might this not work?
Do I trust you? Yes, absolutely. Why might this not work? Because, all plans, any plan can come apart in the face of the enemy. We're trying to sucker them, and they may not bite on it.
Awesome.
But it's a way of possibly getting out one of their better batsmen, by tricking him into overconfidence.
Cool. Yeah.
The equivalent in baseball of getting a runner to stretch a single into a double when the fielder's actually not bobbling the ball, but has it ready to throw in there unexpectedly.
Nice. So, yes. So sorry, I was just reading through. So yeah, the play here is that we're looking for here the highest card against your opponent. So first, Aiden, you can draw one card and play it. You can, if you wish, spend your point of spirit to draw an additional card, discarding one of them, but you do not have to.
When do spirits come back, if ever?
So spirit doesn't refresh naturally. The only way you gain spirit is by fulfilling one of your drives, essentially, which you do get to determine when you have successfully done that. But yeah, so they're a slightly rarer resource than fight.
Yes.
Okay, so it's highest card, but we're totaling them up.
That's it. So you will draw one card, and
yeah,
so
I'll spend a spirit because I'm only going to be drawing one card, and that will give me an option to get a bit better chance than my teammate here. Okay, good thing I spent that one. I'm going to discard that one.
Sure. And you will answer how do you show trust in your teammate?
I think that I am showing trust in kind of a roundabout way where like I appear to be engaged in a different play, but like we can see Aiden with like one of his hands drop down to kind of catch a pass to him from behind.
Awesome. Yes. So then, Lewis, you will draw two cards, and then you choose which of those you want to play. If you play a card of the matching suit, then you kind of connect up. If you play one of a different suit, then you show how you sort of take control.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have a matching suit option.
Sure thing.
So when I so the balls hit out, and as we practiced, I take I take, I take my sweet time getting to it. I scoop it up and I see that the runner on Aiden's side has outpaced his teammate, and so I don't think I can get it to Aiden in time to put him out. So I throw it at the other wicketkeeper. I take a big hopping step and throw it at the other wicketkeeper as hard as I can. Because his teammate is lagging, and that may give us the precious second needed to put them out. We're not going to put out the one we wanted to put out, but we'll still put someone out, and it'll be a blow against the other team.
Awesome. I like it. So I will draw my 2 cards now. That's a 6 and a 3. Ooh, so we just double check if I have anything to add to this. I think I just draw cards here. Yes, I just draw cards. That's fine. So we add the 2 cards together, and the team with the higher total wins the point. However, and you're currently both at 9 apace. However, because you have momentum from winning the opener, you will win on the draw. So you have successfully won your first point. What you want to do now is, I think between you, because I think this is just on the
headway.
Oh no, sorry. This is this one is Stephen. So Aiden, you will answer the headway question on one of those 2 cards that you played. I'll get rid of mine for ease.
Cool. Let's see here. Right over to the card table. I think that it is like, it's just kind of a moment where we seem to move seamlessly, I think, and this is just from the practice, that the ball goes to the other, and this is, let me know if I'm just completely messing this up, to the other, so I forget I forget the position. Who are you throwing to, Brandon?
With the catcher is called the wicketkeeper.
Yeah, to the other wicketkeeper, and I think that it is just kind of a smooth, like that wicketkeeper gets the ball and then passes it on to me as well. And if I get correct, that's potentially the 2 outs, or do they need to hold on to the ball?
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
I think it's just like this smooth choreography of like passes. And I was answering the question of how does your body seem to move by itself?
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I can't remember if that's technically possible in cricket or not, but it doesn't matter.
It is in our cricket.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is the 1920s. Who knows?
Exactly. Perfect. That is awesome. So then we will come around to Lawrence for our first match moment. So for this one, as I said, if you check the character sheet in the shared folder, there are 4 options here for a match moment. This is just something you just like a little vignette scene here. You can call a timeout, which is you've got something to say to the team or someone on it. Call a timeout. It just can't wait. A brief and private moment. Share your thoughts away from the others. Size up your opponents. Now you've seen them play, share your thoughts. How do they appear to you, and how can you fight back? And finally, remember a moment that brought you here. Flashback to a previous time that fuels your motivation or weighs heavily on you.
I think I'll pick size up your opponents. And I think like this is like possibly all of Lewis and Aiden's tossing around of the ball is happening like somewhere where a little bit farther, like Lawrence is in a different part of the pitch. So is not actively involved in chasing after the ball right now, and so has the moment to like stand apart and see what it looks like from a distance. And I think like to Lawrence, it looks like Hades isn't bad. He's impressed by how like the bowling is going, or wait, no, how the batting is going. And he's impressed by like how fast they're able to run and how it seems like they've got communication working for them. But I think at the same time, Lawrence can see what's going on with Aiden and Lewis's like team combo thing happening, just like how fluid they both seem to be moving. There's a little part of Lawrence's head that's like, this is how I could look if I were doing what Lewis was doing, but we're going to put that little part of his brain away. And I think he can sense that sure, or he feels like sure Hades has like speed and maybe they don't have as many messes as our team has, but look at how fluid we are anyway. Look at how we just seem to know where to be. It's definitely not anything to do with practice. We're not going to think about that. It's just inherent. And that is what Lewis thinks that how our team can fight back. Just sheer charisma and spirit. Yeah. For each other.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So yeah, we'll come round to Lewis, if you would. Sorry, I should have. I will get rid of team combo into the discard, and we also now have head-to-head available. So yeah, if you want to pick one of the available games, and then we'll start on that one.
Interesting. I think I'll take Look at Me Now.
Cool.
This is also because there's a bit of filmmaking in that, because of course we're identical twins. So Look at Me is also Look at You. And in focus is, of course, Lawrence.
Cool.
So yeah, so I think this is a moment, because this is a game at which we're both batting, just by the happenstance of the draw. Where, maybe Aiden put us up, one after the other, but we're batting opposite each other.
Nice.
So we got to look down the pitch at one another as we're taking a thing, and so yeah, so we're going to start by asking the question. With my glance, what would it take to impress you? And of course, by impress you, I don't mean with my prowess.
Mm-hmm. I think like, what would it take to impress Lawrence? It would be to like have the joy of the game shine through in how you play, instead of being a career pushing forward thing. Like, if Lewis can seem to be enjoying cricket while also doing well, I think Lawrence is gonna look at things a different way.
Nice.
All right.
Nice. So next, I will draw a card.
Set up the moment.
Yeah. So whose advice do you follow? So I think the way that this I think the way that this looks is we see as the two of you, or once the the two of you have kind of come out onto the pitch together, you do see the moment where Dom kind of looks between the two of you and does sort of the double take you're very familiar with. But I think he's probably noticed he's noticed the that Lawrence is limping a bit, and we kind of see him walk up to the next bowler in, and murmur something to him, and it's obvious that to the as he goes back to sort of the wicket keeping position, and he's obviously waiting for he's obviously expecting Lawrence to not be as fast in the run, and that's kind of the advice that he's giving to his teammate. Next we have Lewis. You will draw two cards. You can spend spirit on this. If you if you wish to spend spirit, you may. Oh, sorry. Yes, you technically spend spirit first if you wish, but then spend draw cards equal to it if you or to do additional cards if you wish. Sorry, I'm mangling that slightly.
I am going to do it, and this is what you see. So, the first off, as I step up to the it's not the batter's box, but whatever, I'll call it the batter's box. As I step up to the batter's box, right, I'm going to limp. And it's clearly an affectation. At least Lawrence can tell, because I give him a big wink. And then I put my bat out. I ground my bat and I rest one hand on top of it. As the bowler is backing up to do it. As you know, and I'm grinning my head off. You know, it's like there is nothing you can throw at me that I can't make, corned beef hash out of. And then I pick up the bat and I twirl it. I twirl it in my hands a little bit, just before he makes his run. To give the maximum degree of insouciance, and all the time I'm grinning for Lawrence's benefit. As if to say, and then lastly, I with my free hand I gesture to Lawrence, and I hold up one finger, two, 6, as if to say, what do you think? How many runs do you want on this on this pitch? Try and get him to laugh.
Awesome. So yeah, you will draw 3
cards. And I'm going
cards.
to spend the spirit,
yep,
obviously, to do this much shenanigans. So
there we go.
There it is. Got it on the 3rd card.
So yeah, technically you discard one of those cards, which is only really relevant at this point for the finishing up move, which is to answer either the headway or setback on one of the cards. So get rid of one of the ones you're less interested in. But yes, you have drawn a prowess card, which means that this play is going to win. To finish up the move, to finish up the play, you answer either the headway or the setback in slow motion, specifically, to one of those cards.
I'm going to say that the tomfoolery for Lawrence's benefit goes on a little too long, and Lawrence can say, what the sort of, the pantomimed interchange is. But I take my eye off the batsman as he starts his run, and I finally get my wits behind me just as he's bowling the ball. And almost get caught, flat-footed with all that business anyway. But then I just pace the ball. And whatever number Lawrence held up is how many runs we scored. So he can decide that.
Awesome.
One anyway, and okay, and he said he held up 6, so it was one hand, and so yeah, I get my footing back at the last moment and just cream the thing, and it goes flying out into the bushes at the far end of the pitch.
Nice.
And then because you don't have to run on a 6, and then I just collapse, doubling over laughing. And so I look and I say, well, what do you think now? Has it changed?
I think, I think Lawrence is a little relieved because A, he doesn't have to run, and B, like, for once it looked like Lewis was having fun. Like, I think it was a throwback to maybe when they were kids, they used to play cricket, and like they would goof off all the time. And like, I think Lawrence is happy to see that somewhere inside of Lewis, there is something that finds this game fun and not some sort of step to something greater. Like, and I think like they'll probably walk over and like clap Lewis on the back. Hobble
Oh yeah,
over and, like,
that's
clap Lewis
absolutely.
on
And
the
this
back.
is clapping, and Lewis is cackling and going and going. When you held up 6 fingers, I swear the bowler just about had pitched a fit, but instead he pitched a goofball.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking that maybe that little wiggle at the end was a little bit too much. Maybe paid less attention to how good your backside looked and more on how you were going to hit the ball.
He still threw a duck.
You were lucky, but Lawrence is laughing. This is
not lucky. Twin power.
1920s fist bump.
Excellent. Cool. So
Obviously, I'm happy with this response.
Yes, yeah, I assumed as such. That definitely felt like the awesome. So I'll just draw that one, and we've now got Heavy Feelings available as our third game. So what we'll do is we'll come around to Aiden for our next match moment, and then we'll then take a quick break again, and then when we get back, we will do our final match game with Lawrence. So Aiden. So back to those questions on the character sheet again. I won't go into the full spiel again, but you can either call a timeout, have a brief and private moment, size up your opponents, or remember a moment that brought you here.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a brief and private moment with Lewis, where Aiden kind of like, oh, that was really, really good what you did on the pitch there, Lewis.
Sorry, goofy around's not a standard tactic, I know, but worked.
Right. It did, and I blushed, and I say, so Lewis, I'm just wondering, do you like me? And I because of the misconception from before.
What do you mean? I
just heard from people that you might be interested. But that's just what I heard. We can.
Lewis colors up. This is I'm Lewis.
I know. I know. To clarify, he did use your name.
He did, right? He says, I don't know who the devil you're talking to. But no.
Right.
Bloody well,
right.
no.
I obviously that wasn't true. Okay, back to the game. Back. Bye. And I kind of am awkwardly. I back into this. I think probably this is under the stands, and I like back into the stands, and then like I turn around, bump into the stands again, walking into it, straight forward into it this time, and then finally walk out from under the stands without like bumping into anything. I think though we hear like me tripping over the bats just outside the stands and knocking them all over. Sorry, I'll clean this up. Sorry. And I think that's where the moment ends.
Lewis looks like you hit him with a cricket bat. Stunned, puzzled.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts his hand over his mouth.
Brilliant. Thank you. That was lovely. So yeah, we will take another quick break now, again, about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll hop into our final game and what follows from that. So yeah, our penultimate game, I suppose. I'll clear off those. Lawrence, your opportunity to pick the final game for this match. Have you decided which of these you would like to go for?
So I think I'm going to pick On My Own,
Nice.
which is in focus me and a rival, and I'm thinking maybe the rival is Dom.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so play to find out, am I anything by myself? So the setup, which rival singles you out and why can no one else help you in this moment? I think it's Dom, and I think maybe it's Dom is bowling and we're still batting. I don't know if this is like another over or something.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Reset. And yeah, I think it's just one of those where it's intense eye contact while holding the bat in the proper way that's not baseball way.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, the setup for this is kind of slightly redundant for this, but still, obviously it is why do you target them? And I think it's obviously it's not exactly that he has a choice, but you can definitely see as he kind of takes his position ready to bowl, you can definitely Lawrence, you can he kind of eyes you up and down and gives you a wink as he goes back to for his run up to bowl.
Okay. Lawrence on instinct winks back, forgetting for a moment that Aiden is also there somewhere. I mean, he was clinking around in the stand, so maybe he's not actually there. Do I want to push myself and spend all of my spirit? Have I been practicing for this? No, I have not been practicing for this. So I'm not going to push myself. So it's up to the rival to set up the moment.
Yeah, so I think you see Dom it runs up, bowls, and yeah, this is quite. You can tell he's a good bowler. That is his forte. And as the ball strikes the ground and raises little dust from the grass, you can see that's the moment we get the obviously this being an anime, we get that kind of like 360-degree spin around the ball as it like starts to spin, and probably some like angles coming off of it, and yeah, this is clearly a nasty ball. So it's definitely going to hit the stumps if you do not do something. But yeah, so you have to choose: are you going to play it safe or stand and fight?
I am going to, I think, stand and fight. I think it's like Lawrence has been playing cricket for a while, and so like recognizes kind of, even despite the speed of direction, and like tries to get into position to fight back. There's like a grin spreading on his face. I will draw, is it
three cards? Yeah.
Do I want, oh, this is a challenge. I will spend my
you can spend fight once you've revealed your cards if you want. You don't have to spend that up front. That's something you can do afterwards. So if you want to spend that
gamble then. I won't spend spirit yet. I will draw 3 cards. They are 11.
So yeah.
Can I spend fight now?
Yeah, so you could spend if you spend 2 points of fight, that will get you up to equal, which again with momentum
wins.
Yep.
So I'll spend both of my fight, and I think like this whole spending, like I think it's the like the sheer challenge, the joy of like going up against someone who's like thrown so much behind the bowl, that for a little bit Lawrence is focused and will actually hone some of the skill that he has into hitting as hard as he possibly can, trying to go for another 6 so he doesn't have to run. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, awesome. And if you want to answer the headway or setback to describe how the point ends, so that can be off a venue for the cards. I think it is. I'm still getting the grips with this. I think because you won, it will be the headway. I think that's how it works. But yeah, if you want to answer the headway from yeah, exactly, yeah.
I mean, although some of these setback questions could also be interesting. Oh, okay. I think I'm going to answer the headway on the 3rd card, which is how do you take a hard hit to secure a path forward? And I think, yeah. And I'm imagining it's the hard hit that Lawrence takes is that in responding to this powerful throw from Dom, he forgot that he has a rather large swelling bruise on his shin, and I think in like the follow through of the bat, like maybe he overbalances and trips a little bit and like ends up with the awkward, like when you're twisting, like maybe you like fall on, he basically falls on his shin and like just aggravates that a lot. So I think the hard hit is that Lawrence is going to be possibly in too much pain to continue in the rest of the game. But it was a strong bat and will possibly get us some runs, a lot of runs, many runs.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you very much. And we will have our last match moment, which will be with Lewis. So again, Lewis, the questions here are, it's not the questions rather, but the options are to call a timeout, to have something to say with the team, a brief and private moment to share your thoughts away from the others, to take a moment to size up your opponents, or to remember a moment that brought you here.
You're muted.
When Lawrence puts everything into that one, Lewis just cheers tremendously. And he doesn't actually much care what the result is so much. That's just seeing that Lewis laid into it so with such powerful, and the flashback. Since we're talking cinema here, yeah, the flashback is watching Lewis play back 2 years ago, where he just couldn't, where he couldn't do anything wrong. You know, the finals match from before he left, he stopped playing, where, you know, it's like what the coach is saying, you know, yeah, this is our last chance to get ahead, and we're depending on you, Gregory. You know, that's right, Gregory. We're depending on you, says Lewis from the stands. And he and I imagine that Lawrence just you know, just brimming with confidence, you know, nods and things like that, and clouts the hell out of the ball, you know, for the clinching runs. You know, it gets mobbed by his teammates, and you know, and Lewis is you know, sitting on one, you know, standing on one side, grinning at him as if to say, "See, I knew you could do it all along."
Awesome. We'll now move on to our final game of the match, which is because you are convincingly ahead at this point. This will be the final moments. I think two are collected at the same time. So this one is quite a simple one. There's no card draws or anything involved in this one, because at this point we have already determined the outcome. The way this one works is that we will just ask around in turn that the questions that are sort of on this one. So one at a time, each teammate will do the following. Choose the suit that has been most influential on you this match. Interpret that however you see fit. Show how your attitude towards that suit has changed by describing how you play and what you're thinking as the game heads towards the end. So the four suits, I've put them out there, are energy, focus, prowess, and connection. Aiden, which of these suits do you feel has been most influential on you, and how has your kind of relationship with it changed?
I mean, I think it's connection, but I think that Aiden has realized that, you know, he can't let himself be distracted by romance with his teammates, and you know that he needs to focus on being a coach, being a coach and captain, rather than a like friend, lover, any of those, really, right? Because that's what won us.
Brilliant, thank you. Lawrence, which of these suits do you feel has been most influential on you, and how has your relationship with that changed?
I think it's connection also. I think at the start of the match, I think the connection between Lawrence and Lewis was probably a little bit strained, or like a little weird, just because we had that heart to heart in our room before the match. And I think maybe Lawrence didn't quite know where they stood as siblings and having Lewis come back to play. But I think like in this game, they like reconnected a little bit with how they played as children and in the past. And it wasn't so much the like, we'll have to look forward to the future, you have to plan for your career type of playing a game. At least it seemed like they were both putting that somewhere else for the moment, and they were connecting over, let's just play a game. And that makes Lawrence think that maybe Lewis is not a lost cause.
Brilliant, thank you very much. And lastly, Lewis, again, which suit do you think has had the most influence on you this match, and how has your relationship to that changed?
I think it's very much the flip side of what Lawrence just said. So it's going to be connection game, and it's Lewis is over the moon. You know, he knows that this is still a far cry from Lawrence. You know, making a proper decision about his life, but he's so happy that he came back to St. Osana's. You know, that this game, if nothing else, this game made it worthwhile. You know, that joking moment in the middle of the game with Lawrence, and then watching Lawrence just knock, Dominic, flat on his heels with that last beautiful swing there, just made him feel like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm going to win this argument, but God, that was beautiful.
Awesome, thank you. So, and I think the I feel like the main influence that the Hades grammar team realize is, I think the level of skill that your team demonstrated was above what they were expecting. The rumors they'd heard, they weren't expecting this to be such a hard fought game. And while they are obviously disappointed at their loss, I think they have a lot of respect for the skill that was shown in that defeat. So the last thing we do is, as the match draws to an end, as the time is called on the last over, what's one single moment of reaction that we see to your victory here? And again, I'll go back around to Aiden first, if that's okay. Actually, no, sorry, I'll start with Lewis this time and go back to Aiden, so I'm not picking on you to go first all the time.
Lewis runs over to Lawrence. Helps to pick him up off the pitch. Given the fact that he's banged his leg again, kind of levers him up off of the pitch, and just throws his arms around him.
Brilliant, thank you. And Lawrence, how do we see you react to this this victory?
I think as Liz comes, there's probably like a lot of dramatic ow happening from Lawrence. But I think what we see is like he's smiling wildly, and I think he's leaning on Lewis, but also like we can see him like he's doing like the cheering thing, but he's also, as he's doing that, like scanning the team, looking out for wherever Aiden went, because hopefully winning made Aiden happy. And maybe this will have cheered him up from the start of the game.
Yeah, and I think we see a moment where like we see, and I think probably Lawrence sees, because Lawrence, of course, is assuming that Aiden is looking at him, where Lawrence takes a glance over, blushes, and then like puts on the captain, his new captain face, and like looks away and forward.
Awesome. So our match is over. You have won. The next thing we'll be doing is we have a round of post-match scenes. This is just for you to frame up a quick scene in the aftermath of the game, either like immediately afterwards or later that evening, or whatever else it may be. This works a bit like the pre-match scenes in that you have one opportunity to frame a scene. You can do so either as your main character or as the connection that you control. What I will say is, just given the time we've got left, probably we'll be looking at doing these more as like vignette type scenes rather than full blown out long scenes. But yeah, I'll just throw this open this time. Does anyone have an initial idea for a scene that they would like to have in the aftermath of the match?
I have an idea. I think this is after dinner. Lawrence and Cornelius have had their like jazz sherry celebration, and I think like Lawrence is going to be looking for Aiden somewhere in like the dormitories. He's like hobbling. He has a little like a crutch or something, just so that he doesn't have to put too much weight on the bruised leg. But I think like he's going to be showing up to wherever he can find Aiden with a little 1920 solo cup, a little drink that he will like hide behind his back if he ever sees a master. But yeah, where do I find our dear captain?
I think you find Aiden
like a common room or something.
I think I was actually gonna say, I think you find Aiden like having like climbed up onto whatever roof access there is.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Oh,
Lawrence.
sorry.
It's okay. I think like maybe I see your legs dangling or something, or I see some legs dangling and they out of like through the window, and I'll stick my head up and be like, I was going to bring you a drink, a celebratory drink, but I think you'll have to come down and get it.
Oh, yeah, and I think Aiden climbs down, and I think they are surprisingly adept when they're not like being embarrassed and blushing and being distracted.
And Lauren's gonna hand over the little whatever it is and be like, oh, well, congratulations. You helped us win a game.
Yeah, I did. And I like looked down at the drink you gave me, and I kind of sigh, and I think that I was letting myself get too distracted by wanting to be everyone's friend on the team, Lawrence. I think that I think that Headmaster's right. I don't want to let all of you down anymore. I think that whatever relationship there is between all of us, I think it's best that all of you think of me as your captain, not as your friend. And I set the glass down on the sill and go to my room. And I think I'm triggering my resolving one of my traits here. When I pull rank and put down my foot.
Yeah. So good.
That sounds perfect. So you can mark a point of spirit. Also, because this is the first point of spirit that's been earned in the game, you will unlock your special match game, which I've now put into the deck, biting words. But yeah, that is awesome. Also, I will just give sorry, I jumped in there, but I will give Lawrence you an opportunity to respond. To see what your response is to that.
I think there's like a look of confusion that passes across Lawrence's face, and he will watch like Aiden walk away, and like I think even tilt his head a little bit, like, what was that about? And then just look down at the glass that's on the windowsill and down it, and shrug and walk back to the room where Cornelius will at least listen to jazz with me.
Awesome, thank you very much. I'll come around actually to Lewis next. Is there a scene that you would like to frame up? And also, if you don't, that's fine. We can just pass on that now. But if there is, then feel free to set that up.
I'd like to frame up scenes with both of them, but since I have to pick.
Oh no, you can have a scene with both. This can be kind of like earlier in the day or whatever else as well. If you want, we don't have to like strictly follow chronology.
Yeah, I don't. No, I mean with each is what I mean to say, but it doesn't have to.
I think it means multiple scenes.
Yeah.
Yes, but so I guess it's. I'll get the other one next time. I'll actually take a very brief scene with Aiden.
Sure.
And this is pretty soon after the match. So this is, maybe as the equipment's being put away in the locker room after people have cleared out. And Lewis says, "Look, Chambers, I didn't mean to snap at you like that. You caught me by surprise. It was in the middle of the match. Maya wasn't. Got me a little, I don't know, flat-footed." And he looks down at the ground.
And yeah, I think Aiden is no, you were right. I shouldn't have I shouldn't have mentioned it. It was just a stupid rumor I heard.
Yeah, well, I just want you to know that this isn't going to be a thing. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, nothing said. No harm done.
Oh man, I think that like we're cleaning up the materials, and I think that Yeah, I mean, Aiden is awkward, and but he is wants to be professional, but he's still a teen. I think he just kind of says surly, "Yeah, no harm done," and we just kind of see him kind of like shove the cart with the balls on it through the door, and it's definitely harder than he needs to.
A good game anyway, says Lewis as retreating back.
I think you too.
Yeah, I think that's the same.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, and lastly, Aiden, if you want to frame up another final scene, then you may do so. Again, if you feel like you're done, then that's also cool. But
God, I feel like Aiden's going full like surly teen mode, and like this is just bad boy Aiden now. I think that like we see Aiden knocking at a door out in the village, and it's Dom, and Aiden just says, "So no strings attached," and that's where we fade out there.
absolutely, yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, lovely. Thank you very much. So we will move into our final last little like mini phase, which is just our upkeep phase. This is quite a straightforward one. So what we are doing here, I'm just going to get the page up just so I remember everything. So we will who would use any unspent setback tokens we wanted to. At this point, we could frame up some like last little scenes with a setback token, a bit like having a kind of last monologue token thing in Good Society. But as the only person who has remaining setback tokens is Valentine, we will skip that step. We will then refresh setback tokens. So everyone will gain everyone's setback tokens will reset back to 2, me included. I've added Valentine's on there. So yeah, I should probably do that. So that's you'll have 2 setback tokens again when we come back next time. We will then check for completed trait drives. So obviously we've definitely got one of Aiden's traits concluded. Does anyone else feel that they have concluded one of their drives yet?
I might ask Lawrence. I feel like your sibling relationship, maybe.
Yeah, I think I might have done both of these things actually, restore your friendship with your teammate or form a new bond in the team with the same person, because I think that during the game we restored our relationship. So I get 2 spirits now total.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a reminder as well, you can, if you feel like in play you notice that you've resolved your drive, you can claim the point of spirit then, as we sort of just did with Aiden. But this sort of step is just in here as a reminder in case we don't realize at the time. How about you, Lewis? Do you feel like you've resolved one of your drives yet, or do you think there's still got work to do on them?
I still have work to do on the number 2. The number one could be resolved. The problem is that Freddie didn't get any screen time this thing, so it's hard to just. I can't justify it. If he had been watching, if we had even just said he was watching, then number one would have been a shoe-in, I think.
I mean, I feel like you could make an argument that like there's some resolution on the sibling really. Well, I guess because I mean it's not that you've convinced them to go pro, it's that you've kind of convinced them that there's like pleasure to be had in the game, which is I feel like the latter.
True enough. And an understanding that this is we're playing in the 1920s rather than the modern day sports world. But I think I'm focused on work out what they truly want. And I think that's still coming.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because what Lewis really wants is for Lawrence to find his dream. To focus on something that he can actually build his life around. Which category mooning over a classmate doesn't qualify. So if he just commits to anything, and cricket's just the most obvious one. And so that hasn't happened yet. I think it's likely that the first one might well trigger early in the next session when Freddie and I talk about the match, because maybe he watched it, who knows? But since I didn't introduce him this time, I'm not going to cross it off right now.
Sure thing, no worries. Yeah, and as I said, next week we'll be doing our next set of like event and daily life scenes and stuff. So we'll catch up more on that then. No worries, thank you. So the next step after that is we'll just do a quick change here to we'll refer to the team page. So what we do in this step is it's what's referred to as progressing the team special. So in this case, it's this Demons Under Ire move that you have. So what we will do here is that one of these phrases, one of these like pieces of gossip, rumor, whatever else you want to call it, people are no longer saying about the team, so we'll remove it and we will add a sentence that they are saying instead, and that can be either good or bad. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. So I'll just ask you, so I'll refresh you on which ones we have, and then if you just want to decide amongst yourselves which thing you don't think people are saying anymore and what you think they are now saying about the team. So the ones that we have are that our coach is a malingerer or a coward. Some of the players are on the team because of their parents' money or power, not talent. Our school lost a lot of tuition during the war and is hard pressed for money. Maybe it will close. And our players are undisciplined hotheads and glory hounds. So which of these do you think is no longer being sort of said about the team?
I feel like the second probably, because I feel like we just played into the form.
I think so. The second one, we just did St. Osana's did a walkover over Hades, who was probably expected to beat them.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if there's a lot of deadwood on our team, it sure didn't show during this game.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds good to me. I will strike through on that. And what do you think they are now saying about the team after the most recent match? Again, this could be a positive thing, or it might be a negative thing still. Your choice.
I was laughing because Lewis, of course, would like them to be talking about, Lawrence's incredible athletic ability. But that's not necessarily what's happening.
would it be something like they're having way too much fun?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was thinking something on that lines too.
Yeah, awesome.
So it's kind of positive and negative.
Yeah, exactly. A nice double-edged one there. Perfect. So, and that's basically it. We would also potentially review collaboration, but with a game this short and with so many sort of things, it's fairly hard decisions. I don't think there's much to be done with that. We will end there for the evening. So thank you very much, everyone. It was good fun getting to grips with the match mechanic. So yeah, thank you all very much.